Hey guys, Mike here. In this video, I wanted to talk about it's sort of a mini rant. It's just I've been kind of scouring the internet for just to see what the community's been talking about, and I've been seeing a lot of mid content on the internet lately. Mainly, it's just content focused around what's the strongest skills, or what's the strongest emblems, or what's the strongest classes and stuff like that. And I'm gonna tell you right now, all that shit doesn't matter. There is no really strong, overpowered class. There is no class that can just do everything. Um, you have to think of all of the classes and units in this game as tools, and just like a tool set. So you have a set of tools like a hammer, a screwdriver, a wrench, all of that kind of thing. Like a hammer is good for hammering nails, right? A wrench is good for, twisting nuts and stuff like that. So they all have their specific uses, and that goes with the same with the classes. Like paladins have specific uses, and I see a lot of people playing paladins totally wrong. And cavalry cavalry do not have good defensive and resistance. Their defense and resistance are pretty shitty, to be quite frank. Paladins are supposed to be hit and run units. Now granted, if you make a certain unit into a paladin, then yeah, they may be able to tank a little bit more better than other units, but they should not be on the front line. They should be hitting and running. And the reason for that is because they have 6 move. And if they have 6 move, then that means they can get the jump on infantry units, right? Because infantry units only have 5 or 4 move, right? Armors only have 4 move. And like and then that extends to like armors. Armors are, they're footlocked, they only have 4 move, and they're just there to move to the objective. So, and they're supposed to take hits. They're not supposed to be like countering. Like, so like, okay, so one thing I see is like, well, you should just put counter on everyone. And it's like, no, that's stupid. Yeah, you can put counter on someone if like you have no better options. But honestly, there's a lot of pretty good skills, like just besides counter and repo. Counter and repo are obviously very good, but there are other skills. So like for armor, if you want them to stand in front, why are you gonna put counter on them? The canter is supposed to be a retreating type of skill. So canter, you put it on your cavalry or other units that you want to retreat, like archers or something like that. But you don't put it on armors. Armors, you just want them to move forward and hold the front line and stay in the front. Like, I mean, obviously it's a single player game. You can do whatever the hell you want to do. But like I said, this is a mini rant. I've just been seeing so much mid content, and it's like people focus too much on stuff that really doesn't matter. Like, I mean, granted, there are the RPG elements of building your characters. They do matter to a certain extent, but like they don't matter that much. As long as you get your character and build them in the general right direction, just trying to argue over the nitty-gritty details about like what class is better or if these skills are really better, it's like they really don't do much for you. Like, I find there's so much beauty in this game from not only the RPG side. Yeah, like, sure, I would say it's like half of it, building out your characters, but like the tactics side and just playing good. If you just play good, then you can make up for having a shitty team stat or team comp or whatever like that, right? Because the HP bar here, it's really only, you can't think of it as like this unit right here has 62 HP. You shouldn't think of it as 62 HP. You have to think of it as like how many hits is this unit going to die in, and typically most units in Fire Emblem games, they die in 1 to 2 hits, right? Ideally, you want to kill them in 1 hit, but usually 2 hits, maybe 3 hits if you're doing something not optimal. And just by playing better and having better tactics in the actual map, you can compensate for having a lot of bad growths. You can compensate for having a lot of bad setups and stuff like that, or just like maybe not allocating your resources properly. Like with your gold and your bond fragments and stuff like that. So like all of that other stuff, I would say it matters, but it doesn't matter that much. And as you go from game to game in the Fire Emblem series, like if you're skilled, you'll just go far, and you'll just play so much better consistently across different games. Because then if you go from different game to game, and like the games are different, right? They change the rules of the game as each game comes out. And like if you go back to play the old games, the rules are so much different then. Like cavalry had like 12 move back then, but now cavalry only have 6 move. So if you just master the fundamentals of gameplay, then the just all those nitty gritty about skills and what skills are good and just classes, what classes are good, they don't really matter in the end, quite frankly. So, like for this channel, I want to focus more on tactics and like how I can help you guys become better players, because I feel like if you're really good with tactics, you can do some crazy stuff, and your mind just opens up, and you're able to just see so many things clearly about how you want to tackle the map. You just become very resolute and very sharp and very crisp in your decision making. Whereas like when I first started playing Fire Emblem, I played on normal or hard or something like that, and I would just I wouldn't prepare, I wouldn't do anything, I wouldn't have any sense of strategy. I would just kind of just throw my units in. I'd be like, oh yeah, this unit's pretty good, and then I would just keep using them, or like, and that kind of worked for hard mode. And then even after towards the end of hard mode, like you start to realize, I keep making mistakes. I keep making stupid mistakes, and like I just didn't feel like I was getting better, or I didn't feel like I was mastering the game or doing really good. And then once I started to try and understand like the depth of the tactics a little bit better, stuff like moving your units efficiently, like making sure your footlock units with the lowest move first, because they get highest priority, because cavalry can flex around them, stuff like that. Using attacking the enemies in such a way that you're efficiently defeating them and not trying to just fret over every single experience point that you get. Just stuff like that. Just try to play the game better. Like, there's a thing about low turn count, and you don't have to play with low turn count, but like thinking in a low turn count mindset, that is trying to clear the map in as few moves as possible, just naturally makes you play more efficiently. And then when you get into shitty situations where like it feels like everything's lost, because you're just a better player and you can play more efficiently, you're able to do some, get yourself out of those shitty situations and pull through, especially on harder difficulties. So like especially for hard mode, I feel like about chapter 15, like halfway through the games, and this goes for all Fire Emblem games, I feel like hard mode actually gets pretty easy, because like you start to kind of over level, and your level starts to exceed past what the enemies are, and like any unit that is decent, they can start to handle other enemy types that are outside what they're typically have a main advantage over. So for example, like your sword master could start taking down armor knights just because they start to over level and stuff like that. And I guess maybe that's fun for some people to see their overpowered units take down a armor knight, which is kind of ridiculous. But I find I have the most fun in this game when like I do some really like when I do a set of moves or choice of moves that I'm like, wow, that I can't believe I did it. That was really cool, or that was really awesome that I did that, or I came up with that, or I even came up with that. So yeah, like I said, I don't want this video to get too long, but I just want to focus more on tactics and like things that you can do on the map to make you a better player. I don't really care too much about, oh, is this class good? Oh, are these stats good? Or are these growths good for your unit? Because like I said, they don't really matter. And as long as you're keeping your levels up and combining that with just playing better from a tactical point of view on a turn-to-turn basis, every turn doing the most optimal thing better for both your short game and your long game, then I feel that's where Fire Emblem becomes extremely fun and extremely enjoyable. And like I said, it's one of my most favorite series of all time. So anyways, just feel free to subscribe if you're interested in that type of content, content that I feel will make you a better Fire Emblem player. And hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.